What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering. Happy Monday. So much to talk about today. I could probably do 8 or 9 videos on all of the revelations of Joe Rogan over the weekend. We're going to keep it to 1 or 2 today. We've got an absolute metric ton of news, but there's also other news today. Hilarity surrounding the Olympics. The old world famous socialist Hassan getting absolutely destroyed for buying a $200,000 Porsche, and so much more. So if you haven't clicked that red subscribe button down below, please do consider to do that. Consider doing that right now. Now, there is a very important thread on the internet right now that connects quite clearly why the kind of push, the coordinated push to get rid of Joe Rogan may be politically motivated, may have connections to a super PAC, which is a place to dump money for politicians. And it's very spicy. And we even saw Dave Portnoy get involved in it last night as well. You see this, Sim? Read the below thread on Rogan. All I knew is the Rogan propaganda videos felt similar to all the videos made to go after me. So I went back and looked at the account that always resurfaced old out of context clips of ours and fact checked who followed it. The top 3 names are identical. Brett, who don't care. He's from Midas Touch. Captain Jordy, also from Midas Touch. And Ben, also from Midas Touch. Now, Vocal Distance, definitely worth a follow here. Responding to Andrew Schulz saying, since you asked who's behind the attack on Rogan, I'll tell you, this is a professional political attack. 3 waves, one right after another, is not a coincidence. Good spacing, good timing, so it's absolutely professionals. But who is it? Who was it, did you ask? That takes some digging. But the video compilation of Rogan saying the N-word was dropped by Patriot Takes 6 days ago. You see the video in the tweet, picture 1, and Patriot takes credit for, quote, republishing the information in pic 2. They take credit. That they take credit is important, and you'll see why shortly. Now, Patriot Takes is a YouTube or a Twitter channel that's partnered with Midas Touch, or at least that's what their bio says now. As you can see in their bio, Patriot Takes is partnered with Midas Touch. And why? And this is where it gets interesting. Who is Midas Touch? Or Media's Touch? I don't really care. It's not Midas Touch, is it? Media's Touch. Media's Touch? I don't care. Well, they are a professional political organization. In fact, they are a Democrat super PAC. More on that in a moment. Run by 3 brothers, Ben, Brett, and Jordan. All of them have worked in media and have expertise in understanding manipulating media. The most important thing for us is Brett, who is a social media manager for Ellen DeGeneres and an expert editor, which matters because Patriot Takes works with Midas Touch. And I'd say it's a safe bet that given their expertise in social media, that the N-word video was created by them. But we are not done. They are also a super PAC. What is a super PAC, you ask? A super PAC is a political advocacy group with a special twist. Super PACs may raise unlimited sums of money from corporations, unions, associations, and individuals, then spend unlimited sums of money to overtly advocate against political candidates. This means that a super PAC can take in unlimited amounts of money and then spend it however they want politically. See, when you talk about candidates and stuff like that, there's a lot more transparency when you're talking about like a political candidate or somebody running for Senate or something like that. They are a super PAC. They could take in as much cash as they want. $4.7 million for the 2020 election cycle and $1.5 million for the 2022 cycle, to be exact. Now, to recap, Midas Touch, a super PAC, which can collect as much cash as they want from pretty much anywhere, and a professional strategy and media firm run by people with deep ties to entertainment, likely had a hand in the N-word video from Patriot Takes used to go after Joe Rogan. Why? Why are they doing this? And what do they have to gain? I think a clue can be found in the letter Patriot Takes wrote about all this. Look at the highlighted part. Quote, the past week, Patriot Takes republished and brought to the national spotlight dozens of recorded instances where Joe Rogan used the N-word, referred to black peoples as Planet of the Apes, and applauded the salute. Among the other despicable acts, the videos have now received millions of views. Patriot Takes is bragging about their millions of views and how they made the video the center of the national conversation. They are bragging about their clout. Rogan is one guy leftists can't cancel. If a group could cancel Rogan, it would be a massive show of power. Woke people and legacy media groups have been trying to cancel Rogan for ages because he steals their audience and doesn't play by their rules. Rogan also offers his enormous platform to people like Jordan Peterson that woke progressives in media circles really don't like. The group that takes out Rogan would gain a lot of clout and a lot of power. That group can say, we cancel Rogan. If we can get him, we can get you too. Would be able to swing a very large stick. And that's ultimately what it's about. It's a play for power. Now, I've talked about this at length, and it is about power. It is about control. It was never about Joe Rogan and his medical, guests. Never was. How do we know this? Because immediately after he apologized for that, wham, they're like, yeah, but 14 years ago you said the N-word, and we have a problem with that. And then as soon as he comes out the other side of this, I wouldn't be surprised if they have some other smear ready for him. It was never about him correcting his misinformation, quote unquote. It was never about him saying the N-word, because everyone already knew about that. It was never going to be about the next thing that they want to pretend it's about. It's only about control and power. So, Andrew Schulz, that's who's behind this. The question is, what can we do about it? If every person who Joe helped out said, we are with him and we will tell our audiences to cancel Spotify if they cancel Joe, this would be over in a day. If everyone won't stand up, we need brave people to lead organic pushback. Brett Weinstein has been doing this with his Thanks Joe Rogan hashtag. Finally, it needs to be made clear that to Spotify that if they cave, they will pay a significant cost. We have to make that clear. They need to pay a cost for this. If we can do things, I think we can protect a guy who has done so much for so many. Just in case anyone thinks the attack on Rogan was organic, we have pre-made scripts out there for canceling Rogan, and they're the same word for word. Here's Paul Kogan. It's time for Spotify to be accountable. And listing the sign on that move or ins and vodush. Exactly the same. Whit Germano, he, him. Exactly the same. It's time for Spotify. Exactly the same. PPS, Midas Touch absolutely advises and works with Patriot Takes. And by their own admission, they help Patriot Takes with strategy, building and boosting their fundraising profile. This is all professional, and so was the hit on Rogan. You can see this tweet from April 29th, 2021, where they write, we're excited to officially announce our partnership with Patriot Takes. We have been so impressed by their important work. And now you have Dave Portnoy getting in here and pointing it all out. Well, what does it all mean? Well, I mean, you see here, quite frankly, what can we do about it? Because I feel like a lot of people, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but the episodes that Joe Rogan deleted, that were deleted from Spotify, were not actually deleted by Spotify. They were deleted by Joe Rogan himself. Joe Rogan is the guy that said, okay, let's delete these videos. And then if we look at this other company, you see the trouble with Midas Touch. Here's Rolling Stone, a left-wing propaganda outlet nowadays, writing a hit piece against him. Shouldn't they be on the same team? The brothers behind the breakout anti-Trump pack are the golden boys of hashtag resistance, but when Rolling Stone took a look beneath the surface, the response turned Trumpian. Midas Touch, like many other super PACs, is fueled by the anti-Trump donors who, outraged and terrified by Trump's malevolence and incompetence, were ready to open their wallets like never before in 2020. But those donors were pouring money into a broken campaign finance system. The Supreme Court's Citizens United decision and other court rulings have allowed super PACs to raise unlimited sums of money, but given them few rules or guidelines on how they're allowed to spend it. The rules that do exist are rarely enforced, as the Federal Election Commission went dormant for almost all of 2020 because it was unable to form a quorum. There are regulations on what people can spend, in political campaigns, and it's all transparent. That's why these people use super PACs. They're almost like a shell corporation where it's impossible to really see where money's coming and where money's going. It's a black hole of influence and control. Some of the most powerful people here. You see, and they won't, obviously when Rolling Stone asks them about what's going on with all this money, suddenly they were awfully Trumpian. Their brother said they were the ones being harassed. And Midas Touch accused Rolling Stone of attempting to damage the relationship that power our operation and harm them financially when it reported on their business relationships. We will not be threatened by these mob-style tactics and continue to keep you up to date, the group tweeted. The group told supporters that the reporting on them was an attack on them as a movement. You attack the movement, you attack all of us. Interesting when asked by another left-wing. You see, Wisconsin, where a consultant for another campaign also paid $15 an hour and had a doctor on staff and conducted hundreds of COOF tests for canvassers. It cost $2.75 per door to knock on 300,000 doors. In an email obtained by Rolling Stone, Crossroads founder quoted that it was $1 to $1.25 per door figure, similar door knocking operation. The larger the operation, the lower the cost per door. This is just talking about how there's no transparency. I won't go and get into all that, but there's no transparency in how these clowns spend people's money. And they, in my opinion, are absolutely behind the smear on Joe Rogan because they know that Joe Rogan is likely to swing the next election. I promise you they know that. And that's exactly why they're trying to deplatform him. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.